Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you all for joining me at this time. My name is Shavi Zane. I'm coming on to bring a message for the chosen. So if you find that this resonates with you in any way, please be sure to like and subscribe and send me an email if you want to book your own personal reading with me. So I wanted to have a conversation with you all because I was thinking about a situation when I was a little girl, probably about 10 years old. Um, and I was sitting at the table because I was adopted, right? So I lived with a woman who had adopted me, and I was sitting at the table with her mother and the mother's great granddaughter. But her great granddaughter was about the same age as me. So it was the three of us sitting at the table, and we were all eating crabs. And out in the country, people, they love them crabs. I don't mess with bottom feeders anymore, but yeah. So we were all eating crabs, and we got down to about three crabs left, right? No, it was about four crabs left. And I was like, okay, well, it's three of us sitting here, four crabs left. Each of us will likely get, a crab apiece, and then maybe the last one will go to the oldest, the adult that was at the table, right? So I ended up getting one crab, and I was fine with that. And the girl who was the biological granddaughter of the woman at the table, she said, "Well, Grandma, I get two because I'm your real granddaughter." And her grandmother, she just laughed it off and was like, "Yeah, yeah, you're right." And so in that moment though, I just kind of knew it was something very wrong about that, right? And I was a very sensitive girl. Actually, I was very sensitive for a long time in my life. And so I kind of got teary eyed, but I didn't allow them to see me cry. I just ate my crabs, but I held that for a long time because I just thought that in that moment, right, the perfect scenario would have been that woman would have said, "Hey, no, even though we're not all blood related, we are now one family." That would have been the ideal thing for someone to say, but that's not what happened. And later on, over the next few years, I would be compared to that same young girl, right? Because we were so close in age. So I would be compared to her in many ways, oh, she's more advanced in mathematics, or she's able to do this. Y'all are the same age, so you should be able to do it too. And what was interesting is that we were polar opposites, right? This girl was loud. She was disrespectful, rebellious in her energy. I was quiet, you know, kind of passive, but very obedient. And the interesting part is that I give thanks to the Most High that I have always been a leader, though, not a follower. I've always been a leader in a sense that I couldn't be led down the wrong path too many times in my lifetime to where I ended up on the wrong side of the fence without getting yanked back into place, without the Most High straightening me out and reminding me, like, no, that's not you. Because again, as the chosen, I never really fit in. But I say that to say, you'll get to a place where you want to say, look at me now, right? Because looking back for that particular situation, that person who they compared me to for many years actually turned out to be a hot mess. I'm sorry to say, fighting as an adult, constant drama, constant arguing, over drinking, just smoking so much that the lips are black as charcoal. But this is who I was compared to. This is who I was not just compared to, but who I was made to feel. At least they wanted me to feel as if this person was somehow more advanced than me, somehow smarter than me, somehow better liked than me. And as I look back, I grew up in a time where popular meant you were loud. Popular meant you were disrespectful. Popular meant you were obnoxious. That's how you got the tag of being popular, where I was being raised at that time. And I was none of those things. And moving fast forward to today, it's so tempting, right? It can become very tempting to say, look at me now. Everyone that doubted me, everyone that made fun of me, everyone that shunned me and said, you're not good enough. It's a temptation for the chosen because it's a common theme for many of us. where you was always compared to that one person. But the Most High has a way of setting you aside and reminding you, like, no, that is not the standard right there. Man tells you that's the standard, but the Most High says that's the complete opposite. And so this is why you end up getting preserved and, you know, removed from most of society, because the Most High wants you to stand in a lane of your own, not to be taken down a pathway that tells you that this is what the world likes, this is what the world wants, because now that same person, they're not in a good space. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know anything about them. You know, I don't have any direct communication with them, but I can say that I'm certain of that because of the path that that person chose, because of the characteristics that was applauded and, you know, lifted up at such a young age. That person began to embody those personality traits, and now it's become a major issue for them. So they got to go and find themselves outside of who the world told them they were, right? Whereas the advantage of a chosen seed is that we've always been different. And so it's not easy to manipulate us in a way where we become someone completely different than who we were created to be. Now, what does end up happening is that you end up maybe suppressing a lot of your gifts. You might suppress a lot of your talents and your wisdom, but you don't end up becoming an entirely different person to fit into society, because even if you did try to become a different person, you still never fit in. So you end up, you know, jumping off of that path pretty quickly. And so I say this to say, as the Most High continues to lift you up and show the world who you are and to claim you before everyone, it's going to be a lot of people that's going to be, you know, eating their words. And it's, you know, it's very tempting again to say, look at me now, but it's really not necessary to say it. It's not necessary to do it, because most of those people who thought that they were better than you, or who tried to make you feel inferior to them, they've been watching you anyway. They've been watching you anyway, because that mysterious nature of who you are, they've always been curious to know, what are you doing now? You know, are you successful now? They want to know, because the chosen, we have that type of energy where people are just always up in your business, always curious to know what's your next move, who's around you, you know. But the great thing about all of this is that the Most High is going to place you front and center for everyone to see that you, in fact, are worthy, and that you were never inferior to anyone. You was always very special, with unique gifts and unique qualities, and you never needed to be like anyone else. If anything, you set the standard for what a lot of other people would like to rise to. But because society told them that being loud, disrespectful, obnoxious, you know, a bully, a gossiper, the society told them that was cute, that was entertaining, they, in fact, ended up becoming the followers. They ended up actually molding themselves to be what other people thought was the standard, which is sad that people, you know, we have a whole society that uplifted that type of behavior and those types of characteristics, but, you know, diminished the characteristics of those who were truly empathic, compassionate, you know, sweet, kind. Those energies get tucked to the side and they say, oh, you're a lame, right? You're a lame for being kind. You're a lame for not being loud and obnoxious, you know. Society has been ass backwards for a very, very long time. And so this is why the head is now becoming the tail, because we're getting back to that place where we're starting to be reminded that the reason why society is so messed up is because we gave so much power and attention to low vibrational energy. And so now the tables are turning, and the world will be able to appreciate your silent nature. Not that you have to be silent, because it's just a different type of communication that you bring. You don't have to be loud and obnoxious in order to get your point across. You speak, and your wisdom is loud. Your wisdom is loud. Your love is loud. The royalty that's in your voice and that's in your words is loud. And that's the balance that's happening at this time. It's taken us a little bit to get there, but we're definitely getting there. And so you'll see that certain characters that was given a whole lot of clout are now going to be, they're going to have to take a back seat, whether it's people in your intimate circle or whether it's people in the entertainment industry that, got their position from being loud, obnoxious, disrespectful, raunchy, ratchet. All of that stuff is taking a back seat. And true integrity and wisdom, true creativity, compassion, empathy, all of that stuff is going to be at the forefront, because that is the true high vibrational energy that should have always been front and center stage. It should have always been uplifted. But you have to consider who was in a position of power. The powers that were, they're completely anti-love. They're anti-righteousness. And so because of this, of course, they would create an entertainment industry that uplifts low vibrational energy. And so people in your day-to-day life would want to mimic that because they see it being uplifted and rewarded in the entertainment industry. And so then people like The Chosen, you get pushed to the side and called a goofy or a lame or a nerd and all of those things. But those of you who was given those labels, you're winning. Okay? You are winning. And those who labeled you in that manner, they're losing, and they're losing very fast. If there's anybody that ever called you a lame for being sweet, if they ever called you a lame because you just didn't get down with hanging out with certain types of people, if they ever called you a lame because you wasn't trying to indulge in certain substances and get drunk and get crunk, those are the same people who have nothing today, who are constantly having to start all over again. And as you continue to rise as the chosen, you are going to find that you will continue to be elevated. You will continue to have an overflow of abundance in all areas of your life. This is not a short-term thing where you're going to fall on your face. No. But those people, they're going to continue to stay on that karmic cycle of taking losses because they have a hard time shedding that old skin. They have a hard time becoming that same so-called goofy, lame, or nerd that they called you, because they're still very much so conditioned into believing that loud and obnoxious and ratchet is status quo. It's the standard for the type of people that they entertain and intermingle with. And so this is why they'll remain on that karmic cycle, because they'll have a hard time shedding that low vibrational energy. But you now embrace who you are. You embrace your uniqueness. And it's a powerful, powerful gift for you. It's actually a superpower. So that's my message for you all. Continue